Yes, good morning, welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is a glorious day and the shades are needed today. They weren't needed yesterday. Today it is hot, hot, hot. At the time of recording this video, it's about 7 AM your time and it's about 9 AM where I am. And I've woken up to the news today that Fabrizio Romano has said that indeed Tottenham did go in for Ademola Lookman in the last couple of days of the window, but that only wanted a loan with an option to buy. Now, I'm going to go into it in a little bit as to why this frustrates me no end. This is really, really frustrating, and this is why so many people, like my mate Stellan Lubo, will take any opportunity to call out Daniel Levy and the Spurs board. Don't get me wrong, I will as well. Not as much as them, but I will. And it is frustrating because all summer Tottenham knew they needed a left-sided player. Tottenham knew that Sonny was going. Even after Sonny went, we had a month. So let's go on the proviso that we knew he was leaving. That gives you 3 months. Let's say we didn't know he was leaving. That gave us a month to buy a left winger. And we didn't. And now we're seeing that Ademola Lookman, one of the best left-sided players out there at the moment in terms of form. If you look at his stats over the last 3 years, playing in Italy and playing in Europe, he's got fantastic stats and a very good player if you watch him. From London, 40-odd million, it would have been a no-brainer. But Tottenham decided against it. And for me, I just can't understand this. Now, we have to be very careful because this summer, depending on whether you believe Fabrizio Romano or not, depends on how much credence you want to give his opinions or his stories. But let's be fair. He also said we were going to get Xavi Simons, and we did, and yada, yada, yada. He did it with Kudus, etc., etc. So he said that Spurs have offered a straight-up loan with an option to buy, and that Atalanta didn't want that. They either wanted the cash or they wanted an obligation to buy. For me, I cannot understand in what reality Spurs did not think this was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. We're talking about 40 million obligation. We're talking about 40 million up front, or 40 million right now, however they want to structure the payment. And Spurs decided against it. Now, what you'll have now, I know this, loads of people in the comment section, they'll come in now and go, oh, but, what if we go in for X, Y, Z in January? Well, let's be fair, Spurs failed to get a top left winger in the whole of the summer, 92 days. Do we really trust that they can do it in January, which is the more difficult window? Do we really trust that clubs will let players of that calibre go in the January window? Now, they might. I'm not saying it's impossible, they might. But it's a lot of ifs, buts and maybes, isn't it? Oh, well, if the number one player you want isn't available, go for somebody else in January. Well, if the number one player you want isn't available in January, surely it will tell you why is he available in... if he's not available in the summer, why is he available in January? Why would any squad, any club going into a Champions League campaign wait until the January to make that move? Just a little bit baffling. Just really, really baffling. Lookman for me would be the perfect addition. He's a good left winger, he can beat his man, he likes to come inside as well, he likes to join up play, he scores goals, he gets assists. And as I said, this is why I can understand why people get frustrated. This is why people get frustrated, because the money was clearly there. At one point, we were told that we were bidding 70 million for Paz and 70 million for Savio. And if it wasn't Paz, we were bidding 68, 70 million for Eze. So the money and the funds are clearly there for Tottenham Hotspur to go and buy a left winger. Then we're told it's 40 million, 43 million, I believe, to be precise. This is nothing. Spurs spent that on Matisse Tell, but we didn't think it was worth it for Lookman. And this is where I say other fans get frustrated. This is where I get frustrated. 40 million we spent on Archie Gray. 40 million on Tell, but we wouldn't spend that on Ademola Lookman, who's a proven top league footballer. A guy who's proven in the biggest games he can score a hat-trick in a Europa League final. This is where I will never understand Spurs. We can drop that money on these lesser players, but we can't drop that money on a ready-made player that comes in and helps us in a Champions League campaign. No, I'm not moaning about it. There's no drama, there's no meltdown. I'm just a little bit baffled when you see that sort of news. So right now, I'm asking you lot, does that make sense? Can anybody put forward a coherent argument as to why Tottenham would wait until January to try for a player again? Why if you can't get them in January, now all of a sudden you're waiting until next summer? I can't make it work in my head. I'm sure there will be people that can. For example, I had a guy yesterday called Kobe in my comments saying, I don't mind that we didn't buy a left winger. Let's coach Odegaard or Tell. And I love this theory from fans. But if we were going to do that theory with every position on the pitch, why buy Simmons? Just coach Donnelly. Why buy Moani? Just coach Lancashire. Why buy Kudus? Just coach Ajayi. You know, I love this theory. I love this. Why did we buy Romero? We could have just coached Dorrington all those years ago. I love this theory. Yes, players will be coached naturally over time. But when we're talking about, yeah, we don't need top players because you've got these young kids that need to be coached, that frustrates me. 70 million was spent on Tell and Odegaard. 70 million. And we couldn't pay 40 million for Lookman. Slightly. Nope, I'm going to change that word. Very, very frustrating. In this window, Tottenham let go. Werner went back from loan. Son left. Hill left to Girona. And then Solomon went on a loan. So we let go of 4 left-sided players and couldn't bring in Lookman, couldn't bring in Savio, couldn't bring in Fofana, who was there for the taking, by the way. But we waited until the last day of the window to make a move. So, slightly frustrating. And as I said, I'll end this on a positive. I do think the signings we made were very, very good. They were very good. It's not that. It's just the leaving yourself short part. Now, the argument's going to be taking place, isn't it? Just who should be that left-sided player. So I'm going to end on this. If it was up to you, who would be your left-sided starter? Would it be Odegaard? Who, I'll be honest, for me, I've not really seen anything of him when he was at Burnley or at Spurs to make me think that's a really good player. Would it be Johnson, who we know is excellent with his output from tap-ins, etc., but we know can't beat a man, hasn't got skill, can't beat his man, passing is poor, crossing is poor? Is it Tell, who, I'll be honest, I don't think he does anything well. I think he's got a decent cross at times. Who plays there? And then the left field option. Does Richarlison play there? Does Richie now go out left, now that Kolo Muani can go through the middle? So food for thought there. Food for thought. Guys, girls, I'm going to leave it there. Take care. Much love. Let me know your thoughts. For me, 40 million could have seen that first 11. I say complete, but a very strong first 11 with no gaps. And then we could have filled out the squad at a later date. But that one left winger position really bugs me. Might not bug everyone. It doesn't have to bug everyone, but it really bugs me. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.